So now the question is, why exactly am I doing all of this first? Why do I need to load all of this data? What am I trying to demonstrate here? So this is where we come on to the first use case that I want to demonstrate. What I want to show here is how we can use COCO within the Snowsight UI and how we can do quick analysis of things. So most often than not, what happens is that we jump between different projects. We are working with different multiple stakeholders. We are working in different environments altogether or different accounts as well. And sometimes it happens that you are asked to change a project midway. So you have to go into a new project. You have to look at the data set. You have to understand everything. And you have to look at what the connections are before you can write even a single line of code. Now, all of this looks good in theory, but the problem is documentation. Sometimes the data is not documented properly, the requirements are not documented properly. Even if they are documented, there might be a chance that the current schema has evolved and the documentation is still talking about the old data. So before even writing a single line of query, you have to do all of this. And then there is the client, there are business stakeholders who are already running behind you, asking you XYZ questions on top of that data. So before you can even understand the data, you have to go through all of these things. And if you have been in this place, you know that it is at least a good 4 to 5 hours of work in understanding somebody else's understanding of the data. All right. So that is the problem we are going to solve now. What I have currently in front of us are 6 tables. I don't know how they are connected. I don't know how they are working. I don't know how are the different joins on top of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask COCO to give me all of this information. And where do I find COCO? Here on the right hand side, if you can see, there is this button and it says open or move COCO. What I'll do is simply I'll open this. And this is how I can access COCO inside my Snowsight UI. Whatever you see in front here is the Snowsight UI which Snowflake offers at on a browser level. What is the prompt that I'm going to run? Again, all of this is well documented. All of this is I'll be giving to you post the end of the session. So make sure that you guys are concentrate on this. So the first prompt that I'm going to give is for COCO to help me understand what data I'm dealing with, what is the grain of the data, what are the different primary keys, what are the different foreign keys, and how I can get one transaction and map it to one customer. What I'll do is I'll copy this prompt. I'll go to my Snowflake portal and I will just click here and I will hit enter. As soon as I hit enter, you can see here it is preparing the cloud environment. It is looking at whatever permissions I have. It is trying to explore the data set and it will list all the tables. It will do everything for me. I don't have to do anything here. We'll just wait for it to give a couple of answers so that then we can discuss on it. So see, it has already started giving me all of the required artifacts and the answers. See, I wrote a single prompt and it was able to give me a good understanding of the data set. So what are the different tables? We have this bank customers data set, which has a 250 rows. The primary key here is customer ID. The grain here is 1 row per customer, which is natural. Then we have branches, we have bank accounts. It is able to give me all the information. My accounts table has a few foreign keys, so it is also giving me the relation. Foreign key, which is linked to bank customers, and foreign key, which is linked to the branches table. Then we have cards. Then we have the loans table. We have the transactions. This is the basic ER diagram as well, showing my bank customers is connected to bank accounts. It is also connected to bank cards, bank loans, and my bank accounts is in turn connected to bank transactions. So all of this information which you would end up spending at least 1 or 1.5 hours is what COCO is giving you in less than a minute. And obviously, this is a simple prompt. You can refine it more. You can talk about granularity. You can talk about what are the distinct values, whatever you want to understand about the dataset. It is just one prompt away, nothing else. And it has also given me this the path to transaction. So customer ID is not directly available in my transaction. So if I want to map a transaction to a customer, it is a two join process. I need to go from transactions to bank account, and I can go from bank accounts to bank customers. What it has also done is it has given me this query which I can directly execute. So if you look here, I have a button, and if I click this, I can execute the SQL statement right away. Or if I want to copy this, I can copy this as well. Look at this. And it has executed the query and given me the result here itself. I did not have to move anywhere. I did not have to go anywhere else. Everything that I wanted is given to me by COCO CLI directly. Now, let's move on to the next thing. What else would you think about doing when you first join a project? So let's look at the second prompt. Now, I have understood the basic idea about what the data set is, what are the different keys, how exactly is one table linked to another. Before I write queries, I want to understand what are some of the obvious mistakes that I can make while writing queries, or what are some of the key points that I should keep in mind before I start writing queries, or I can do any other work on the given data set. So I've written this query. Let's see what exactly the output is. So let me scroll down a bit. Yeah. So it is going to point out to the non-obvious relationships, any columns that aren't what they look like. For example, a column name might be currency, but it might have some other data set. You never know. We never get clean data assets. So that is always the case. It is asking me to allow something. So let me allow. So it has removed a certain log file. If you expand this, you can see what currently it is thinking, and it is processing. So whatever quick analysis you wanted to do on top of your data, everything can be done here. You can see here, transaction amount is signed. And it is giving me. At the end, it has also given me a TLDR. It knows most of the Gen Z generation today don't want to read all of that. It is giving me a quick summary of what all I have. So you can see it is giving me obvious things that transaction amount is signed. So whenever I credit something, it is a positive value, but whenever something gets debited, it is going to be a negative value. So if I simply do a sum of amount, it is always going to give me a wrong answer because I can, the sum of credit will be subtracted by the sum of debits. That is not what I want. So it is asking me either you use a absolute value or filter by sign. Then current balance on accounts is not derivable from transactions. That is fine. Utilization rate is a decimal value, not a percentage value. Again, a very important, you know, insight into how the data is, where it is very easily to get confused here and treat utilization rate as a percentage because that is a common nomenclature that we follow. Cards and loans are linked to a customer and not to an account. Good insight. So all of these things you can do. Now, I know a few basic things about my data set. I know what are the key points that I should look into as well, but I don't want to write any query. I just want to see if COCO can execute something for me. So let me copy this. Let me give it a query. What exactly is my query doing? It is going to give me the highest loan delinquency and what is the total exposure that we have to them. So what exactly is a loan delinquency? Basically, it is a loan anybody has defaulted over. If you were to pay maybe a certain amount to the bank, but you did not pay that amount, that is called as a defaulted loan. So it ran something that did not execute, it corrected itself, and it is writing a new query. And the best part is, let it give a result, and I'll show you the best part. Whatever I am asking here, A, it is executing by itself. B, it is showing me the result. But third point is that it is automatically also adding things inside of my worksheet. If I want to share the script with somebody else later, I need not write or copy the queries again. Everything is given to me by COCO already. I can just select on keep, and this is already added into my script. And if you want to just have a look at the, if you just want to have a look at the results, then you can have a look at the results here. So isn't this useful? Everything that you need, the query, the result, everything you are getting, and you did not have to write even a single line of code. Everything is just plain simple English. Let's do something more. Let's say somebody comes back with a more granular request. Now we have done the delinquent loan exposure, but they want more slicing on it. So let's give this and see what is the output it gives. So it is working, and it has given me according to the different customer segments, what are the different loan types which are delinquent and how much money are we supposed to expect from that. And these people are at on an average 69 days late to pay their previous installment. When the loan type is auto, the average days past due is 60. Again, I have the result in front of me without even writing a single line of code. And if you want the code is also available to you here. It is writing the comments by itself. It is writing everything. It is joining by itself. It is filtering by itself. Everything is done natively by COCO. I did not even write a single line of code right from getting to know my data set till the point of getting a quick analysis done out of. I have been part of projects where I've had to spend close to a day just to understand a data set, understand what are the different joins, what is the grain of the data, how I can write a CTE to make sure that the grains are aligned, everything. And then most often than not, there are good chances that a query would go wrong. Then you have to sit, you have to understand what went wrong, you have to track back, look at things, correct yourself, and write the query again. All of this is at least 4 to 5 hours of work, which is getting solved in less than 5 minutes using COCO. Isn't this very useful? Now, what is the best part? Is COCO a chatbot? The answer is no. COCO is not just a chatbot. It is an entire coding agent in itself. The best part here is that it sits inside the Snowflake tech ecosystem. It understands the tables you have access to. It understands what permissions you have. It understands what are the restrictions that have been put on you. For example, if there is a resource monitor set which doesn't allow you to consume more than $4 worth of credit, then COCO already knows that restriction. It will make sure that it does not run any query which goes beyond that time. If it knows that you can't increase the size of your warehouse, it won't do that. All of your restrictions, all of your role-based access controls, all of your different privileges that you have on your Snowflake account, everything remains the same. It just acts as a clone of you, doing work for you, but at the end leaves you to take all the